Right. This particular video is to identify two main concepts. The first one is, what does it look like if a company is being productively efficient? And also, what does it look like if a company is being allocatively efficient? These are the two main measures of efficiency. So let's take a look at a standard imperfect market, and that's important. So we've got downward sloping demand curve and our marginal revenue curve as well. Okay, we're going to add to that our two cost curves, our marginal cost, which falls and then rises, marginal cost, and we're going to add somewhere in there, doesn't really matter where, we're going to add our average cost. And you'll see what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that the bottom of the average cost curve crosses the marginal cost curve at the bottom. So this is where it will cross. So you can draw it by going left that way, right that way. That way you know it's at the bottom. Next, there are 2 points that we need to identify here. The first one is productively efficient, and that is here. Productively efficient. This is where our MC crosses our AC. Effectively, it is the point at which you are producing in the most efficient manner. You've got the lowest average unit cost. You are maximizing your economies of scale. Okay? And that is an important point on that graph. Next, we've got the second one, which is called our allocatively efficient point of production. This is our AE. And this is where our average revenue equals our marginal cost. Okay, so this one is productively efficient. This one is allocatively efficient. Okay, and how can you think about allocative efficiency? What does that mean? It means that we are allocating our resources in the most efficient manner possible. So, just imagine what happens after this point on our production level. Our marginal costs are higher than our average costs, our average revenue. So you wouldn't produce at that point because it doesn't make sense. It costs you more to produce that unit than you would receive in revenue for that unit. So you just simply would not pass that point. It's nonsensical. So really, this is our second point on this chart, which I think is quite important. It's called allocative efficiency. You can almost think of it in terms of a demand and supply curve. Supply and demand, and this is your equilibrium point almost here in the middle of your chart. It's quite a good way to remember where it is. Next, we've got to ask ourselves a question. Would this firm that we've got on the board here ever operate in an allocatively or productively efficient manner? And the answer is no. And the reason for that is because if this firm had the option, they would always choose to operate here. The profit maximizing level of output, where our MC equals our marginal revenue. They would choose to profit maximize. Now that's really important because what it tells us is that firms in imperfect markets, like oligopolies, like monopolistic competition, like monopolies, are not going to operate efficiently unless they are forced to do so, probably by some form of governmental intervention. Okay, let's leave efficiency there for the moment. We'll come on to another couple of graphs in a little while for Unit 3, Economics.